Okay, Seattle homeowners, be honest. Were you thinking that real estate prices were going to crash in Seattle as you listen to the national news about tariffs and interest rates and economic uncertainty? A lot of people get scared and they feel frozen, but don't worry, don't panic. Here in Seattle, I am your local realtor, Emily Cressey with HomeProAssociates.com at Keller Williams Greater Seattle. And I'm going to walk you through the actual data. I don't like to wave my hands. I like to tell you exactly what's happening. And so we can all draw conclusions from that and make smart decisions. So this is statistics from the Northwest MLS for May 2025. The previous month just closed. This is the latest, hottest data right here. So let's start with single family homes. As far as new listings, we had 2,446 new listings in April. That's a 24% increase over how many we had the year before. That means more homes are hitting the market and buyers have more to choose from. It helps ease competition and prices are not getting driven up so steeply. As far as pending sales, this was up 13%, meaning homes are still going under contract, and closed sales were down slightly, but that's kind of a delayed metric coming out of the earlier March season when we had a little bit more tariff news and buzz and those types of things. But April is the data that we're looking at now, and April and May are historically some of our hottest months of the year. So looking at median home price, we're up 4.3% year over year. Homes are selling on average for $990,000 here in the Seattle area. I mean, this is just so great if you own homes and hard to deal with if you're trying to get into the market for the first time. But we definitely hold a lot of wealth and real estate in this area. And I want to point out the 4% price increase over last year. So rather than falling, home values are rising just at a more sustainable pace than what we saw during the pandemic boom. Now let's take a look at inventory. The total number of homes for sale right now is up 50% over last year. This is significant. It tells us the good news that sellers are coming back into the marketplace and buyers have more options. If we look at supply, we're at 1.5 months supply, still a very strong seller's market, but more balanced and a little bit more favorable toward buyers than it was a year ago. Now let's talk about condos, and I don't want to get too much into the data on condos because in my opinion, it's a little bit screwed up. The good news is that we're having lots of condo transactions, but we have a ton of new construction homes that are standalone, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom homes that are being listed as condos, but they're really a different animal. They're like a DADU, a detached accessory dwelling unit. Oftentimes lots are being bought and they can't be split or subdivided because the lot size would be too small. Like in Seattle, you can't have a 1,000 square foot lot or something like that. It's too small to be a separate lot. So they're saying if you're buying a large lot, you're building a couple of buildings in the backyard, and you're selling all of these buildings because they're not each on their own separate lots, they're considered condominiums. And so they're being sold as 3 condominiums, even though they may not touch, they may not share driveways or anything like that, but they're treated differently. So the Northwest MLS is in the process of creating a new category for these types of homes, but in the meantime, they're being clumped into our condominium data, which I think is skewing or distorting the way that we would typically look at that data. So I don't want to pull that in if it's kind of not an apples to apples comparison to how it's been in previous years. But just so you know, that data is reflecting that new condo listings are up 20% and that home prices are up 13%, and that the median home price for condos is $600,000. But again, remember that is probably skewed upward a little bit by the introduction of a lot of this new middle housing. So let's talk about what this actually means for you if you are out there in the marketplace trying to make a decision. You are seeing more inventory. This gives you negotiating power and more choices if you're buying a home. But homes that are really desirable are still selling fast and may sell over list price in many cases. I was looking at a fixer-upper with some clients last week, and it was everything wrong with it. It was really old, had knob and tube wiring, probably $200,000 worth of work was needed. It had 3 offers, but it sold at list price. So nobody was like bidding it up. They were bidding under or at that price. And so just because there are multiple offers doesn't mean that we're having the crazy price escalations that we had before. Had another client or another agent that I spoke with in the Green Lake area who had a popular open house. This house was priced in the $800,000 or $900,000 price bracket, and she gave out 12 inspections, meaning a lot of buyers were coming and looking and requesting that inspection. What's the condition of the home? Typically indicating that they are going to be making an offer on the property. But at the end of the day, she only got 2 offers. One was not able to escalate at all, and so one bought it probably for $5,000 or $10,000 over the asking price. So again, just because we're seeing multiple offers and we're seeing homes sell quickly doesn't mean that the prices are going quite as wild as they have in the past. Third story for buyers here is that I had a client last week who was making an offer on a home in West Seattle, and there were 2 offers on that property, my client's and another one. My client was actually the lower offer. And this one, they had beat us by about $7,000 with their escalation clause. And they ended up going with my client because he had better terms. It was a stronger overall offer. So rather than going for a little bit more on price, they wanted the sure thing of an offer that was going to close. So again, there are other factors besides price, but knowing the market and being prepared to act quickly and still be aggressive on your offers is very important. What I'm hearing at my office from buyers is that a lot of buyers are sitting on the fence. They're feeling overwhelmed by choices. They're not feeling a sense of urgency. And unfortunately, waiting to find a home too long may mean that you face higher prices later in the year as home prices continue to go up, or you find less inventory available. The spring is when the majority of the homes are listed. So if you wait to buy later in the year, you may find that you have fewer homes to choose from, and the ones that are there are the ones that didn't sell in the spring, maybe because they were overpriced or not as great condition as those really prime spring listings. So sellers, let's talk about what this market means for you. It is still absolutely a seller's market, and it is a great time to list. Homes are getting strong offers, especially when they're priced correctly and marketed well. So with more competition coming into the market, the way that you present your home matters even more. So if you are thinking about buying or selling, or just want to understand what your home is worth in today's market, I would love to connect with you. I'm happy to be a resource, whether or not you're planning to do a transaction now or years from now down the road. You can find more updates like this on my YouTube channel or visit my website at homeproassociates.com for more tools, tips, and market strategies. Make sure you subscribe to my weekly newsletter so you never miss a thing. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.